I am constantly talking to large enterprises about personalization at scale. And today, what I want to walk you through is how a lot of our customers are taking their customer segments and then creating agents to automatically create personalized content for those segments. So what I'll do today is we're going to use Capital One as the test subject here. So what I'll walk you through is I've already used an agent in Writer to create the customer segments because truthfully, I don't have access to their own proprietary data and research. And then what we'll do is we'll use the output of that agent to create personalized content at scale. So let's take a look. Here's the flow. So the first thing I did was I said, Writer, you are an expert market research analyst who specializes in consumer finance and credit card markets. So I asked Writer Agent to basically go out into the open web because, again, I don't have access to their own proprietary research. And I said, identify and thoroughly describe 3 to 6 actionable consumer segments that Capital One should prioritize. And then this was the output. So Writer Agent actually not only did the research, you can see it took 59 steps here, but first it researched the current credit card market and analyzed Capital One's card portfolio. It did research on emerging consumer needs and pain points in the credit card market. You can see all of the steps the agent took, and then it actually created slides for us. So the output was this beautiful presentation in the Capital One branding. So I imagine this agent just running for you continually, helping you break down your own customer segments. This is probably a pretty arduous process, but that's not the focus today. So we have these segments, things like digital native credit builders. And I exported this so you can even see it in this beautiful format. So we have all these different segments. That's great. This will be an input for the next agent that we create. So let's say we work on the marketing team and we want to allow anybody on the team, as they're creating new content, to actually go in and use those segments as a guide for creating content. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll go into playbooks. This is how we create reusable plans that Writer Agent can reference. And you can even schedule these to run on a recurring basis, and we call those routines. So we click New Playbook. So it pulls up this window where we simply describe what we want the agent to do, and it creates the first version of it for us. So I'm going to click this little microphone here, and I'm going to say, I work for the Capital One marketing and content team, and I want to create an agent that references our existing segmentation file and then allows the user to say which type of content they want to create, and it'll automatically create different types of content depending on the segments. So said another way, it's going to create 6 versions of the content based off of each consumer segment, depending on the type of content. And again, that probably could have been a lot better, but I like to show how natural and raw you can be with some of these prompts. The second thing I'll do is I'll actually feed in the segment file. So we're actually going to feed it as a PDF right here. And then what I can do is I can reference it in this prompt. So I'll backslash here. This is where we can plug in variables. And I'll just plug it in here and we'll click Transform into Playbook. And my hope is that Writer actually takes in what I want, just the idea, and it creates the first version of an agent that we can use for all of our team. So once I refine this enough, I'll actually be able to share it out with everybody I work with. So let's take a look here. So it says segmented content generator. It's off to a good start. So it generates 6 distinct versions of marketing content tailored to different consumer segments based off of Capital One segmentation file. So this enables targeted content creation for marketing and content teams. And then down here is the plan. So this is actually like what the agent will go off and do for us. So it looks like it reviews the segments, understands what they are. It identifies those 6 primary segments. And then based off of the user's input, it will determine what type of content it needs to create for each of those segments. So it looks like right here, you can actually see here, if I hit play, this is what the user will see when they want to leverage this playbook. So basically you log into Writer, you'll actually just have to plug in the content type and then the core content brief. Let's test this out. So let's say we're part of the marketing team And it's our jobs to create personalized landing pages for the venture rewards card. I'm actually just going to take this URL and I'm going to plug it in here as an ideal kind of brief. Usually you probably have a file or a brief for a new campaign, but let's just say we don't. And then we'll say landing pages. And we'll hit run playbook. And what should happen now is we should actually get 6 different variations of the content for the different segments. So imagine you were just basically rewording this page for each of those 6 segments. And we'll see one for digital native credit builders, wellness-focused millennial managers. You can see here like the key behaviors that were extracted in the research. So let's take a look. Right now, the agent's already hard at work. So we can see the plan of attack. You can actually see it as it's working, checking off things on its to-do list. So I'm going to come back to you in a second once this is done, and we'll see how the agent did. So we're nearing the end of this agent's to-do list, and I love this final step here. Review all 6 drafted content versions for adherence to their respective segment strategies. So basically, this agent has given itself kind of like a final review step to make sure that it's like checking its own homework. And I love that. I didn't ask for that. It just built that into its own plan of attack. And thankfully so, because I think that makes the agent's output a lot better. So let's see. It looks like it'll finalize and present the content. So we should have that done pretty soon for us. So here we go. Let's see what's been delivered. Venture segmented landing pages. So we have 6 unique landing pages, one for digital native credit builders, wellness-focused millennial managers, experience-driven mobile spenders. And you can see here the different focus, the tone changes, the call to actions that are different. This is awesome. And it looks like it actually scraped all of those details from that web page that I fed it. So imagine a world where you actually have all of these additional details and your segments live in data that sits in Snowflake or Databricks, right? This is something that we can plug into Writer through our connectors. So there's a world where you can automatically start to personalize your content at scale through Writer Agent. And this was just a really high level overview of what that could look like. So let's take a look. What are the different landing pages going to look like? So we have segment 1, key attributes, the content strategy, emphasize credit building potential and tracking tools, incorporate gamification language like unlock, level up, earn. This is great. What I'll do in the next one is I'll probably ask the agent to create a mock-up of the landing page using this as an example, but you'll have to tune in next time to see that one. All right. Hope that was helpful. Thanks.